Hello, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 5 of the Helping Humankind podcast. I'm your host, Danny D, and as you know, this podcast is brought to you by M.A.R.C.H. Inc. M.A.R.C.H is an acronym that stands for Mediation Achieving Results for Children. We provide mediation, supervised visitation, and limited legal services for parents throughout the entire state of Missouri. And here on the Helping Humankind podcast, we like to host individuals who make being kind and compassionate a part of their daily lives. These individuals are usually only known to the community they serve, and so we invite them here to shine a spotlight on them and discuss how they are making the world a better place, one act of kindness at a time. My guest today is Katie Willoughby. It's Willoughby, right?
Yeah.
Okay. She's an employee at Parkview, which is a healthcare center located in Kansas City, Missouri. And sometime last year, Katie introduced and now manages a Narcotics Anonymous program for residents at the healthcare center who are struggling with sobriety. So we welcome Katie.
Thank you. Yay. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. We're excited to have you. And we're excited to hear about, how this came about, this whole Narcotics Anonymous program, and like maybe some history behind, your idea to bring this to the residents of Parkview.
Yes. So me personally, I was an addict for 10 years. I've been clean 3 now.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So my biggest thing, I found my home at the building I work at now, and I found the need for our residents to get the help that they needed that they couldn't really get from just our nurses or, not necessarily just the health portion of the help. They needed more of how am I going to stay sober and look at what my life could be, because a lot of our residents can leave our facility, and how do you do that if you're not sober?
Right.
So I saw the need for it. I saw the struggle in a lot of them that went through abuse for years, and they needed support and they didn't have any. So I started doing NA, and the residents have really come to love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And about how many would you say residents participate? Is it just kind of like?
So it comes and goes sometimes, depending on their mood. Sometimes, we have like 4 of them that are really consistent. We've gotten up to 10. So it's really, I tell them, like, I don't want to make you come. I want you to come if you really want the help. And I'm here to support you and help get you through it and give you the supplies or the skills that you need to stay sober.
Yeah.
So that's what I've sponsored a few of them. We do our step work.
That's awesome.
So it's really, for me, it was seeing the light come on in some of their eyes. Like, I always heard about people saying that, but a few of our residents had the same addiction as I did, which was fentanyl. And it's almost like you just turn black in your eyes, and to see them become clean, and not only be clean, but to really love life again, and to realize that they're worth fighting for. Their lives are worth fighting for, that they're not just nobodies that you just, that nobody would care about if they weren't here.
Right.
And I think they needed that. They needed somebody that said, I care, and I want you here, and I want you to be sober, and I want you to continue to live and enjoy living.
Right.
So it's really, I was a little nervous at first, but then seeing how much they loved it and how much they appreciated it was really amazing for me.
Yeah, that is so awesome. It's like, it's easy to be an employee, in my opinion, for, organizations and stuff, and just go about like doing the day-to-day requirements, the responsibilities of, your job and your title. It's easy to do that.
It's easy.
It takes a lot more to, just take that extra step, right? You see these people that you're working with and for, you're interacting with them. They're there because they need help, right? And you identify a similar need, almost like it's like a co-need, so like they're getting this help over here that's going to, give them maybe some sort of foundation for just kind of, like health wise, right?
Yes. Yeah.
But then they're not getting that foundational support for, resisting
Mm-hmm.
falling back into
Yeah.
old habits, right? So it takes more, it takes like, maybe there's mental health
Yeah.
aspect.
Mm-hmm.
There's a, support for when they do relapse,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
no judgment, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's critical. And so you saw that need and you have the compassion and obviously the kindness and someone who's coming from that sort of background, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what you needed.
Oh yes, yeah, and I think that although like a lot of our people there really care, unless you've been through it. Like when I was getting clean, I didn't want to hear it from anybody. If you haven't gone through it, I didn't want your advice because you have no idea what I'm going through.
Right.
You know,
Yes.
and having somebody there that they're like, you're just honest, you don't care, and I'm like, well, I've learned that being honest about my addiction is the only way I can help other people. Because if
Right.
I'm not honest, would you guys have ever came to me? No. And you know, who knows? They could have went out and you never know with those kinds of drugs. So
Yeah.
it's like if I wasn't honest and outgoing about my addiction, people wouldn't have ever known to come to me.
Right.
You know, so yeah.
So it sounds like you just met these people where they are.
I did. Yeah.
And that's where they needed
Yeah.
someone to meet them.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who is, was like them,
Mm-hmm.
who recognizes the signs and the struggle,
Mm-hmm.
and who has made it on the other side,
Yes.
right? The only way out is through, and that's where you went,
Mm-hmm.
and you came out on the other side, and you said, I made it out for a reason.
Yeah.
And this is what it is.
Mm-hmm. It gives them hope.
That is so
It gives them
beautiful.
hope. So and without hope, you'll never be clean.
Yeah.
You know, because
Yes.
you don't see an end to it. It's just a
Exactly.
dark tunnel. You
It's a
don't see the
struggle.
light. You know. So they really needed like the hope aspect of it. Not just like I need help with my health care, but I need help with how I'm gonna continue to live my life. Like how am I gonna get out of this?
Or even just like an example of someone who got out,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And that's you.
Yeah.
That is so
I tell them if I can
awesome.
do it, anybody can do it. 'Cause
Yeah.
I was bad off. You know, I was
Yeah.
very bad off. So I said, if I can do it, I promise you, you can.
Yeah.
So.
Oh man, that is so beautiful, Katie. Oh, okay. So you've been clean for almost 3 years?
Yeah. It'll
Okay.
be 3 years in May.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you mind talking about, and if you do, we can skip it, but do you mind talking about like what was the like tip of the iceberg for you? What was your apex moment where you were like, this is it?
In regards to why I became an addict? Or
No,
in regards
like
to how I got
getting
clean?
sober. Yeah.
You know, I'll be honest. So I spent years just getting in trouble, running from the police, selling drugs. I mean, I did it all.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just really a mindset. Like, I truly believe people eventually, it's almost like something clicks in your brain. And I've met a lot of addicts where you just get tired.
Yeah.
You're just done. You're just like, okay, this is not working for me anymore. I remember sitting in my jail cell and I'd been clean a few months and I knew I'd let everybody down once again because they finally saw me clean and now I'm not anymore, right? And I'm right back to where I started, you know, like, so it was almost like just sitting there and it just clicked for me. It was just like, I've had enough. Like I have to get clean or I'm not going to be there for my family to even, I mean, I had no children. So I think at that time when you don't have a kid you're looking forward to, you almost have to find other stuff that motivates you to, you know what I mean, get sober.
Yeah.
And my family was my biggest ones, you know, I'm like, I had a niece who was just born not too long ago at this time. And I had a nephew that I helped. I mean, I was in his life his whole life, you know, that
Right.
really relied on me. And I knew that if I didn't stop, that the next stop for me was they would be at my funeral service. And that it's almost like it all just came back to me. And I was like, I'm just done. Like, I don't want my grandparents to bury me. I don't want my sister and my mom, you know, to have to bury me. And my nieces and nephews wonder why she couldn't get clean, you know, for us. Like, why couldn't she do it? So I think that, and every person is different, but finding that one thing that motivates you to say, okay, like enough is enough. You know, like you really have to be brutally honest with yourself about like the next step is death. It always leads to either you're going to be in prison for the rest of your life or death. There's no really other way out. So I think for me it was just I don't want people to have to bury me.
Yeah.
You know, and I had already OD'd so many times that I knew that it was just going to take that one more time where I wasn't going to be able to bounce back.
Right.
You know, so I think that's really what switched for me. And then I just really stayed dedicated to it. Like, I'm like, okay, when I get out of jail, this is what I'm going to do. Yeah. I'm going to complete drug court. I'm going to go to rehab and I'm going to stay there until I'm stable enough. And I'm actually stable enough, not just, oh, I just don't want to follow the rules. I want out of here. I knew that I actually had to be able, I had to do all my step work, had to get a sponsor. I had to do all the things that people always told me to do because I knew I would be clean if I did those things.
Right.
And that's what clicked for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, and seeing people too around me, like I had never stayed at a rehab long enough to see the light. You know, like I had never stayed there long enough to see that people really do get clean and they go on to live really good lives. And I had never seen that light. So I think separating myself from the ex I was with forever, that was very abusive, and then committing, you know, those kind of went hand in hand, and it just, that's what just pretty much paved the way for me to stay clean.
And so then you bring that aspect to the program, right?
Yeah.
So you integrate, like, you know, you're going to have to do the work.
Yes.
It's going to take the work, but also you need to have something motivating you to do the work. Otherwise, right, you're just going to fall back into old habits. And while we have support for that, the goal is to, you know, move you out.
Yes.
Get you through it, right?
Yes.
And, you know, I feel like, you know, as someone who, because it sounds to me like you kind of, you made the choice to, you know, to go through it, you know, to get through your struggle. And it sounds like it was kind of lonely. Was it a lonely process?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And so, you know, it to me, it feels like having you here and having this program here would make that process feel a little less lonely because you have someone, you know, if you're just on the outskirts of you know, sobriety, and you see that long hallway to sobriety, right?
Yes.
You're standing there and it seems like it's going to take forever, and you see the light, but it doesn't feel attainable at that moment. But now these people aren't just seeing a light on in a room, they're seeing you there,
coaching them through it. Like,
yeah,
hey, come on, you know what I mean? We can do this together. We can get through it, because it can be lonely. And I think that's a lot of the reason why people don't get clean is because if you don't have support, you're never going to get clean, because it just seems like such a daunting task. Like it really seems unattainable. You know, like how do I do this alone? How do I get through this without anybody there coaching me? You know, telling me I can do this and I can get through this. So yeah.
That is so great. And so are there plans to expand it, or just kind of keep it going for a while to see how?
So we open it up to anybody. Like our NA program that I hold there, it's an open program, so anybody can come. I still invite people, like if the Healing House people, it's one of the programs that I got clean at. I tell them, or I tell the residents, if you have any friends, because I know a lot of their friends are addicts on the streets, you know, they are more than welcome to come to our meeting if that's, you know, if that's something that they serve. But I think for our specific residents, they like the small community.
Got it.
And I want it to be the best for them. So what's going to be the best for you? Is it, unless it's like, you know, a close family member or friend that they would really like to see get clean? I told them that, you know, I won't invite anybody else, but if there's somebody that you have in mind that you want to come in and you know, join the group and help get them clean, I said they're more than welcome to come.
That's awesome. And It doesn't cost them. Is that right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is
No,
a
we
great program.
so our facility actually buys the NA books for them, and then I supply like their step work. They get their coins every month. Like we supply the coins for their like 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, because I think those are really. It's nice to have like your sobriety coin to look at and say, I've been sober this long. And one of our participants, the longest she's been sober was 2 days, and now she's been sober almost 6 months.
Wow.
And she's almost 40, and she has never been sober longer than like 48 hours, she said. And this is the first time that she's ever had that. So it's really, she has a son and she wants him back, and I feel like this program gave her a way to accomplish all of that and stay sober and get her baby back and move on with her life.
Yes.
You know, and that to me is probably the most rewarding thing, is seeing them really know that I can do this, and I'm going to be sober, and I haven't been sober longer than 48 hours, and look at you now, you know?
Yeah.
So it's really amazing to see.
That is so awesome. You guys are out here giving second chances to people.
Yes.
Because second chances mean a lot, right?
Yes.
They mean a lot to you because that's what you were given, right?
Oh, yeah. I was given a little bit more than, too. I just feel like, the more chances you give somebody, just maybe at that next chance, they're going to get it. Yeah. Like I don't feel like you should discard somebody just because they've made mistakes in their lives, because all it takes is one time for them to get it right. And then, they won't need any more second chances, because they would have figured it out by then. Right.
They have all of this experience now. Yes. They know the triggers that, tend to make them, fall back into old habits. And just sticking with them, right? Saying, I'm not going to leave you no matter how bad it gets, right? Because I'm here for the good, right? So that is so awesome, because like having reliability.
Yes.
Right.
That's huge.
And, in my experience, just kind of, growing up in this whole like, world of, people having addiction issues and all that stuff. I've found that you don't always, you think you may be able to rely on your family, but you don't always, because there's that element of judgment. Yes. Where they just get exhausted by, any sort of misstep that happens. But you're not their family. You're not here for that. You're not here to judge them. No. You're here to just be that constant. If you want to come to NA, come to NA. Yes. If you don't want to come to NA, you know where I am. Yep. You know where to find me. We'll be there every week. Oh my gosh. You're like the Pope. And I think like too, because families just get exhausted. I know mine did. Mine was just so hurt from all the years that they have to almost guard themselves. Right. And it's really not fair for us to ask them to, okay, unguard yourself this one last time, even though you told them that 30 times before. So they really need like an outside person, and not just being able to rely on their family, because they're tired too. They need somebody who's going to be honest, because they know I'll tell them exactly how it is every single time. Like, I'm going to be honest with you, and sometimes brutally honest with you, because that's what you need to stay. And families sometimes have trouble doing that, because they love you, but then they're also so angry at you. So you get wishy-washy, responses. You don't get, okay, this is how it is, and this is what we're going to do. Yeah. So I think that element of it helps as well. Yeah. So do you guys provide, like, let's say that there are family members or maybe parents or siblings or something, who are also really invested in the sobriety of, this particular resident. Do you have any like literature or educational materials that you're able to provide to?
Yeah, I do have them. I haven't had them ask for them yet. Okay. I do know that I have a lot of experience in where to go if you're a family member, so that you can get the education you need as well, and the therapy you need, because it's really a two-sided thing. The people who loves you honestly needs therapy to, one, help understand what you're going through, and two, learn how to forgive and understand you. Because if you don't understand you, you'll never repair those relationships. Right. And it's a really two-sided thing with them. So they know the literature is always available if they ever choose to need it. Yeah. Yeah.
man, I feel like with every single thing that you say, I'm just like, it just gets even more amazing and amazing. As far as like the employees that work at Parkview, or just as far as like hiring goes, I think you mentioned that you guys hire from Healing House.
We hire a lot from Healing House.
Okay.
Yeah. We hire a lot from, it's a rehab facility that's more of like a transitional home. And we do, because I came from there, and when I took over HR at this building, I knew the vision I wanted for the place, like for the hiring and for the, so I opened that up to them. I told them, send whoever you have. Like, we have plenty of positions, in housekeeping or dietary, whatever the case may be. And some work out and some don't. But I do feel, I mean, we hire pretty much, in my opinion, I will hire anybody as long as you're not, violence is different just because it's a healthcare center.
Right.
But we've hired people with pages on their background, but they've changed, and they have turned out to be some of the best, most loyal people we have there.
Right.
So I think and I think in the healthcare world too, I've worked at different buildings, and I've noticed that some have stigma, and it's just, well, if you've done this in your background, you can't work here.
Yes.
And I think that causes, in my opinion, a lot of the shortages that we have, because people make mistakes. People mess up. I messed up a lot, but I know that I've changed, and I want to open that up to everybody. Like, you've messed up, that's fine. Come work here and better your life, because that's what I want. And I want them to learn from us, that give that back. Give back the grace that I know that I show everybody that come in, and carry that on to somebody else.
Right. Yeah, that's amazing, because you never know who you might, influence to go, I was given the second chance by Katie, and I want to give that second chance to other people. You're creating this domino effect, sort of, I guess.
That's what I hope.
Yeah. And I mean, I guarantee you likely are. I have a good feeling. And you're setting these people back out into the world to, like, just do better, do good. Yes. Like, you're this example. You might be Mother Teresa.
Maybe, I don't know.
Mother Teresa and the Pope. But yeah, this is so amazing. It's so good to hear about, these people and organizations, that, because it's so easy to get caught in our own bubbles. It's so easy to just get caught up in our own lives, and we're not always like looking for the good things that are happening, going on within our communities. And so that's another reason why we do, the Helping Humankind podcast, is because we want to, highlight those things that maybe go unnoticed in the community, like this amazing program, and all the amazing things that you're doing for people who just need someone like you,
Yeah. And you see people, like our residents, some of them so hard to deal with, but you just love them.
Yeah.
Because they have nobody, like they're so used to fighting for themselves, that eventually you start losing the battle, because it's just you, and people need that. Like, even if you're not in addiction, like at our building, and I've taken it out to everywhere. Like, you have no idea. And when I preach to our staff and residents, you have no idea what somebody's going through. You have no idea the storm that they're going through. So the best thing you can do is give people grace, because I know that I've shown it to you. Take that on to somebody else. Like, I may not know what they could be suicidal. They could have, you have no idea what people have going on. So to take that and give it back to somebody else. And that's what I ask everybody in my NA groups to do. I want you to take what you learn in here, and not just your skills to stay sober, but taking the grace that you learn in the NAs and giving it back to other people. And that goes for any of the staff that works here. Like, we've brought in managers before, which I tell them how it is here. Like, this is a family-like environment. We give second chances here. We don't just discard somebody because of a background. We don't do that here. This is what we stand for, and this is why I feel like we have the staff we do, and we stay fully staffed, is because of that atmosphere. You're going to give kindness to people and grace, and you're going to respect each other. And when people do that, you see the change in the whole community. Because when I first started there almost 3 years ago, I mean, I walked in, I was like, oh my gosh, what is going on here? This is craziness. But then you see the change over time of, it's not just like a place to work anymore. It's now a community, and we now have each other's backs, and we now look out for one another, and we do fundraisers if somebody's gonna get evicted. We do fundraisers for each other. Like you want people to love coming to work, because then they impact who they're taking care of. They impact everyone around you, and it does become a domino effect.
Absolutely. It shows through their work.
Yes, and through their influence on everybody around it, even visitors, residents, whoever the case may be. You're showing it one act of kindness at a time, and people get tired of hearing it, because I got signs all in my office about give kindness and speak kindness, and they walk in.
That's what we are here too.
Yeah. They're like, okay, Katie, we get it. I'm like, I'm just reminding
really
you guys.
Important.
Yes, it's very important, because it's just, I don't know, the atmosphere I have at work is something I've just come to love, and it spreads out to the community, and that's what I truly believe is we're building in the hood, right?
Yeah.
And they look a lot of the times look down upon us, but when you come into the building, you're surrounded with love, and that's why I feel like we get all the residents we do, we get the staff that we do, because they can feel that love around them, and that slowly gets into the community. This is a place of love, and this is, one act of kindness, and you can influence anybody around them.
Yeah.
So
it's so awesome. I love that so much. It feels like, when these people come in and they come to you, I'm sure they hear about you a lot, just within their own little, communities around the neighborhood. You should go see Katie over at, Parkview or whatever. But it feels like, to me, as an outsider who, hasn't ever seen, an NA group that you run, or met the types of people who, are coming into NA and attending the meetings and stuff. It feels like you are able to, and this is likely what you show them, you're able to see the human behind the addiction. You're able to look past that, and that's where you're offering your second chance, is to that human inside there. And that is beautiful,
because the addiction really isn't who they are. I was a terrible person when I was high, and a few of our people are like, oh no, they're just terrible, and then they get clean, and I'm like, okay, so what were you saying about them? That's not who they are. It's who the drug makes them. It's not. One of the girls in there, she cussed me out her second day there. She came back, oh, I'm sorry I cussed you, after she was sober. I said, I don't even remember it, because that's not you.
Right. And it's not something that you hold on to because it's, you don't take it personally, because you're just like, this is part of it.
This is all part of the process.
Right. Oh, man. That is so great that they have someone like you just supporting them, someone who's been there, done that, made it out, still alive to tell the tale, and help you on your way. And you're in nursing school, right?
Yeah, I just started in January. So I would love to, I don't ever see myself leaving, personally, my company, because I've just grown to really love my company. But I want to be able to have that clinical aspect.
Yeah.
So I can help them a little bit more than I can now, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So having more, in my opinion, knowledge can be power. Like having all the knowledge I can about a situation will only help me better help everybody there.
Yes.
Because sometimes like they have questions for me, I can't answer them. I'm not clinical. I have no idea, so it's just about learning how to give back with not only my experience, but now I can also help with my nursing experience as well. Yeah. And I think that's really why I wanted to go back to school.
So in a way, when I asked if you guys had any plans to expand the group or the program or whatever, in a way you kind of are, by, you're investing in yourself and your knowledge and all of this. You're going to nursing school so that you can educate yourself in order to, better serve the people that you are encountering. And that sounds like expansion to me,
Yeah.
Like you You're and it's so great too when you see people who are entering a profession, who are there for the people and not for the money or notoriety or titles or whatever. Because it's like you redefine the face of the profession. It's so easy to go, well, healthcare providers, they spend 5 minutes with you and that's it. Whereas you get the people who truly are there to help and share their knowledge and education. And those are the people who make, just the profession worth it. And it's so just refreshing to know that there are people like you out there going, I'm going to get my education in this really difficult area, this really difficult field, not because I want to go work 3 days a week and for the money and all this stuff. I'm doing it because, no, I'm going to probably be working 7 days a week and, spending 12-hour days now at my workplace because I can now help these people in a totally different way.
Yes. And I would love to volunteer at detox clinics because I know that I never went through a detox clinic. I wasn't, I detoxed in jail. So that was, the pretty much cold turkey.
Yes.
But Heartland has a really good detox. I would love to be able to volunteer. I don't even want to be paid for it. I would love to be able to volunteer, to go on my weekends off, to go and be there and be a detox nurse and actually just not only, okay, I'm going to get you through this detox, but I'm going to talk you through it too. I'm going to give you the meds you need. I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to make sure you don't, pass out and die on me.
Right.
But I'm also going to be here to help walk you through it. Yeah. And that's something that I didn't really know what I was going to do with my nursing degree all that much. I just knew that it would help where I was at.
Right.
But I would love to be able to offer my services because, government funding is low in detox centers. They can't afford to pay a whole bunch of nurses to help in those kinds of facilities. So that's another way that I did want to go with it is, not only help where I'm at now, but be able to give back to the community
where it's needed.
Where it's needed and that people can't afford it all the time.
Right.
So
that is so awesome. Yeah. You are definitely the type of person who needs a spotlight shown on her maybe every day. Oh my gosh, that is just so great. So we are just about out of time. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
I am so glad your coworker, friend, best friend, guardian angel Amanda responded to my post on Facebook looking for shameless do-gooders and nominated you. So shout out to Amanda White. All right, so that's about all the time we have for today, but I want to give a do-gooder shout out to from Miss Dawn Coates of Big Brothers and Big Sisters in Kansas City to the CEO Michael Lawrence. Maybe he'll be a guest one day. But until next time, keep doing good.